January 17th, 2021, 6:47 a.m. Deep Creek Valley, Colorado.
The steel trap had nearly severed the wolf's front leg. Dr. Kate Morrison knelt in 2 feet of fresh powder, her veterinary kit spread across a tarp that was already dusting over with new snow. The animal before her was massive, easily 140 pounds, with fur so white it seemed to glow against the grey dawn. Its amber eyes tracked her every movement, but there was no aggression there, only pain, only exhaustion. "Easy," Kate whispered, her breath fogging in the -15-degree air. "I'm here to help." The wolf's leg was mangled. The trap, an illegal leg hold model banned in Colorado for 3 years, had clamped down with brutal efficiency. Bone showed through torn tissue. Blood stained the snow in a 10-foot radius where the animal had struggled. Kate had been tracking this wolf for 4 days. Before we go further, if stories about impossible bonds between humans and wildlife move you, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling us what time and city you're watching from. Now, let's continue. She was a wildlife veterinarian for Colorado Parks and Wildlife, specializing in large predator rescue. The call had come in from a ranch hand who'd spotted tracks and heard howling near Deep Creek Valley. When Kate arrived, she'd found the trap site, the blood, and a trail leading into the wilderness. The wolf had dragged itself 3 miles. 3 miles with a shattered leg and a 15-pound trap still attached. That kind of will to survive was rare. Now, 4 days later, the wolf had finally collapsed from blood loss and hypothermia. Kate had approached slowly, watching for signs of aggression, but the wolf just watched her back, waiting. "You're a fighter," Kate murmured, preparing a sedative injection. "Let's get you fixed up." The moment the needle pierced skin, the wolf's eyes widened. Not with fear, with something else, something Kate couldn't quite name. Then the sedative took hold, and those amber eyes slowly closed. Kate worked fast. The temperature was dropping. The wind was picking up. She had maybe 2 hours before another storm system rolled in, and she was 5 miles from her truck. She cleaned the wound, administered antibiotics, and carefully removed the trap. The leg was savable, barely. The bone was fractured but not shattered. With proper immobilization and luck, the wolf might heal. Kate splinted the leg with lightweight carbon fiber, wrapped it in waterproof bandaging, and injected long-acting pain medication. The whole procedure took 90 minutes. By the time she finished, snowflakes were falling thick and fast. The wolf began to stir. Kate backed away slowly, giving the animal space. She'd done everything she could. Now, it was up to the wolf. Those amber eyes opened, focused, found Kate. For a long moment, neither of them moved. The snow fell between them like a curtain. The wind howled through the pines. And Kate felt something pass between them, something she'd never experienced in 12 years of wildlife rescue. Recognition. The wolf stood slowly, testing the splintered leg. It held. The animal took 1 step, then another. Then it turned back to Kate. Their eyes met, and the wolf dipped its head, just once. A gesture so deliberate, so intentional, that Kate's breath caught in her throat. Then the white wolf limped into the trees and vanished. Kate stood there for a full minute, snow accumulating on her shoulders, wondering what the hell had just happened. She didn't know it then, but she'd just saved the life of an animal that would one day save hers. 3 years later, January 9th, 2024, 2:15 p.m., Elkhorn Research Station, Colorado. Kate's hands were shaking as she read the eviction notice for the 3rd time. 60 days, she whispered to the empty cabin. "They're giving me 60 days." Elkhorn Research Station had been her home for 8 years, a remote wildlife rehabilitation facility in the heart of the Rockies. It was where she'd treated hundreds of injured animals, where she'd built something that mattered. And now the state was shutting it down. Budget cuts. That's what the letter said. Insufficient funding, operational redundancy, bureaucratic words that meant her life's work was ending. Kate set the letter down and looked out the window at the snow-covered wilderness. She'd poured everything into this place. Her savings, her time. Her marriage had ended because she'd chosen this work over her husband's career in Denver. And now, it was gone. The satellite phone rang, jarring her from the spiral of despair. She almost didn't answer. Then she saw the caller ID. Marcus Reeves, Forest Service. "Kate, we've got a situation." Marcus's voice was tight. "Lost hikers. 3 college kids from Boulder. They were backcountry skiing in the Needle Ridge area. Didn't check in yesterday. Storm's coming in hard tonight. We're organizing search and rescue, but we need every available person with wilderness experience." Kate's training kicked in automatically. When and where? Base camp at Needle Ridge Trailhead. 1 hour. Bring cold weather gear for 3 days. "I'll be there." She hung up and started packing. The eviction notice sat on the table, forgotten. 3 people were lost in the wilderness. Everything else could wait. Kate had no way of knowing that she'd just accepted the assignment that would change everything. January 9th, 2024, 4:30 p.m., Needle Ridge Trailhead. 12 searchers gathered in the parking lot, their breath creating clouds in the darkening air. The temperature was dropping fast, 20 below tonight, with wind chill pushing it to 40 below. Marcus Reeves, a grizzled Forest Service veteran with 30 years of experience, spread a topographic map across the hood of his truck. 3 skiers: Emma Chen, 22, Dylan Foster, 23, Aidan Murphy, 21. Last known position was here. He tapped a spot on the map. Ridge saddle between White Pine Peak and Mount Kramer. That was yesterday at noon. They missed their check-in at 5 p.m. "That's 28 hours, someone muttered. "In this cold?" Marcus's jaw tightened. "We work in teams of 2, standard grid search. Kate, you're with me on the eastern approach. Everyone maintains radio contact every 30 minutes. No exceptions. Weather window closes at midnight. If we don't find them by then, we pull back and wait for morning." Kate studied the map. The terrain was brutal. Steep couloirs, avalanche zones, cliff bands. 1,000 places to fall, get trapped, or freeze to death. "They're experienced skiers," Marcus continued. "They know wilderness protocol. If they're conscious, they'll have built a snow shelter. If they're injured..." He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't have to. The teams dispersed into the wilderness, headlamps cutting through the gathering darkness. Kate and Marcus took the eastern route, following terrain features that an experienced skier might use to navigate. The snow was deep, over 3 feet of fresh powder in the past week. Their snowshoes barely kept them on top. 3 hours in, they found the first sign: a ski pole, partially buried in a drift. Marcus examined it carefully. "This is one of theirs. The tip is damaged. Something happened here." They searched in expanding circles, looking for more evidence. Kate found it 50 yards away. A section of slope that had avalanched. Not a massive slide, but enough. A cornice had broken, sending a wave of snow down a narrow couloir. "Marcus," Kate called, "look at this." He came over, studied the debris field, and his face went pale. They got caught. Avalanche rescue became the new priority. They activated their transceivers, searching for signals from the buried skiers' beacons. But the signals were faint, scattered, hard to pinpoint. The other search teams converged on their position. 12 people began probing the debris with avalanche poles, working frantically as the temperature plummeted. They found Emma first. She'd been carried 500 feet down the couloir and slammed into a cluster of trees. Her leg was broken, her face was frostbitten, but she was alive. Conscious. "Dylan and Aidan," she gasped. "They're still up there, near the cornice. They were trying to dig me out when the second slide hit." A second avalanche. Marcus made the call immediately. "We need air support. Helicopter extraction for the injured, aerial search for the others." But the weather was deteriorating fast. Clouds were closing in. Wind was increasing. The helicopter pilot's voice crackled over the radio. Negative on flight operations. Conditions are below minimums. We're grounded until morning. Morning was 10 hours away. In 40 below temperatures, Dylan and Aiden wouldn't last 10 hours. Emma was evacuated on a sled, pulled by 4 searchers working in rotation. She'd survive, but she'd lose some toes to frostbite. Small price compared to her life. That left 8 searchers still looking for 2 people buried somewhere in 2 acres of avalanche debris. Kate worked until her arms burned and her fingers went numb even inside insulated gloves. They found Dylan just after midnight. He'd been buried under 4 feet of snow. No pulse. Core temperature 68 degrees. They tried CPR anyway. 20 minutes of chest compressions while the wind screamed around them. But it was too late. Dylan was gone. 1 skier still missing. Marcus made the brutal decision at 1 a.m. We pull back. We're losing people to hypothermia. We regroup at dawn. Kate wanted to argue, wanted to keep searching, but she could barely feel her feet, her face was numb, and her core temperature was dropping. If they stayed out here, more people would die. The search teams retreated to base camp, defeated and frozen. Kate sat in the warming tent, drinking hot coffee that tasted like ashes, staring at the map. Aiden Murphy was still out there, 21 years old, somebody's son, and there was nothing she could do. She thought about the white wolf, about amber eyes meeting hers in the snow, about the way the animal had dipped its head before vanishing into the wilderness. Kate didn't believe in fate. She was a scientist. She dealt in facts, in probabilities, in measurable outcomes. But sometimes, in the quiet moments, she wondered. January 10th, 2024, 6:15 a.m. Base camp. Kate barely slept. She dozed fitfully in the heated tent, waking every hour to check the weather. The storm had intensified overnight. 45-mile-per-hour winds, temperature -38, with wind chill at -60. No one could survive long in these conditions. At dawn, Marcus gathered the teams. His face was haggard. "Weather's too severe. We can't put anyone back on the mountain until it clears." "That could be days," Kate said. "I know." Marcus's voice was hollow. "But we've already lost 1 person. I won't lose more." Kate understood the logic, hated it, but understood it. She walked to the edge of base camp, staring up at the mountains that were barely visible through the blowing snow. Somewhere up there, Aiden Murphy was alone, buried or injured or frozen, waiting for a rescue that might never come. Kate made a decision. She went back to her truck, pulled out her personal emergency pack, and started loading supplies. Extra food, extra fuel, emergency bivvy, satellite phone. "What are you doing?" Marcus appeared beside her. "Going back up," Kate said simply. "Kate, that's suicide. The weather is going to clear this afternoon. I checked the forecast." She zipped up her pack. "I'm not official search and rescue. I'm a civilian taking a solo hike. You can't stop me." Marcus grabbed her arm. "You're going to get yourself killed." Kate met his eyes. "Maybe, but I can't leave him up there. I can't." Something in her voice made Marcus release her arm. He sighed, then reached into his pocket and pulled out an emergency beacon. "Take this. If you get in trouble, activate it. We'll come for you if we can." "Thanks, Marcus." "And Kate?" He looked at her with something like respect. "Be smart. If you can't find him in 4 hours, you come back. Understood?" "Understood." Kate started up the trail at 7 a.m., alone, heading into a wilderness that had already claimed 1 life. She was 2 miles in when she realized someone was following her. Not someone. Something. January 10th, 2024, 8:30 a.m. Deep Creek Valley approach. Kate first noticed the tracks at a stream crossing. Wolf tracks. Fresh. Big ones. She'd been around wolves her entire career. These were from an animal that was unusually large. The front paw print measured nearly 5 inches across. The tracks paralleled her route, staying 50 yards off to the left, moving through the timber. Kate's pulse quickened. Solo encounters with wolves were rare. Dangerous encounters were even rarer. Wolves avoided humans. But this wolf wasn't avoiding her. It was pacing her. She continued climbing, checking over her shoulder periodically. The visibility was terrible, maybe 50 feet in the blowing snow. The tracks kept appearing, always paralleling, never closing the distance. Kate was starting to feel uneasy when she reached the avalanche debris field. She stood at the edge, looking at 2 acres of churned snow and broken trees. Aiden was somewhere in this mess. But where? Kate activated her avalanche transceiver and began a standard grid search, walking slowly, listening for the beep that would indicate a signal. Nothing. She expanded her search area, moving methodically. The wind was brutal, cutting through her layers like they weren't there. Her face was numb. Her fingers were clumsy. Still, nothing. Kate checked her watch. She'd been searching for 90 minutes. She had maybe 2 more hours before she'd have to turn back. That's when she saw the wolf. It stood at the far edge of the debris field, barely visible through the snow. Massive, white, still as a statue. Kate froze. The wolf stared at her for a long moment. Then it did something that stopped her heart. It turned and walked deliberately toward a specific spot in the avalanche debris. Stopped, looked back at Kate, then began digging. Kate's scientific mind rejected what she was seeing. Wolves didn't rescue humans. They didn't understand avalanche burial. This had to be random behavior, instinct, curiosity. But the wolf kept digging. Focused, purposeful. Kate started moving toward it, almost against her will. The wolf looked up as she approached, then backed away, still watching her. Kate pulled out her avalanche probe and pushed it into the snow where the wolf had been digging. It hit something solid at 4 feet. Kate's hands started shaking. She assembled her shovel and began digging frantically. The wolf watched from 10 yards away, its amber eyes never leaving her. 15 minutes later, Kate's shovel hit fabric. A jacket. Red. She dug faster, clearing snow away from shoulders, then ahead. Aiden Murphy. Kate checked for a pulse. There. Weak, thready, but there. She activated her emergency beacon immediately, then began emergency warming procedures. She pulled Aiden's upper body out of the snow, wrapped him in her emergency bivvy, activated chemical hand warmers, and began trying to raise his core temperature. The wolf never left. It sat in the snow 20 feet away, watching, guarding. Kate worked on Aiden for 45 minutes before the rescue helicopter appeared, threading through a brief weather window. The crew rappelled down, loaded Aiden onto a litter, and winched him up. One of the medics looked at Kate. "How the hell did you find him? This debris field is huge." Kate looked at the white wolf. "I had help." The medic followed her gaze but saw nothing. The wolf had vanished into the storm. Back at base camp, Kate filed her report. She left out the part about the wolf. No one would believe it anyway. But that night, lying in her bunk, Kate couldn't stop thinking about those amber eyes, about the deliberate way the wolf had led her to Aiden. She'd saved a white wolf 3 years ago, and today, a white wolf had saved a human life. Coincidence? Maybe. Or maybe something else entirely. January 14th, 2024, 10:30 a.m., St. Mary's Hospital, Denver. Aiden Murphy would live. Kate stood outside the ICU window, watching the young man sleep under heated blankets. His core temperature had been 79 degrees when the helicopter landed. Clinical hypothermia. Another hour buried, and his heart would have stopped. His parents hadn't left his side in 4 days. Kate had met them briefly, watched his mother sob with relief, felt the father's crushing hug of gratitude. "You saved our son," he'd whispered. How can we ever thank you? Kate had no answer. Because she hadn't saved Aiden. Not really. A white wolf had. Dr. Morrison? Kate turned to find a woman in a sharp grey suit approaching. Mid-40s, confident stride, expensive briefcase. Everything about her screamed federal agent or lawyer. I'm Jennifer Walsh, insurance investigator for Mountain States Rescue. The woman extended a hand. I need to ask you a few questions about the recovery operation. Kate's stomach tightened. What kind of questions? You went back up the mountain alone, against the search coordinator's directive. You located a buried avalanche victim in a debris field covering 2 acres, in near zero visibility with no technical equipment beyond a basic transceiver. Walsh pulled out a tablet. That's statistically improbable. I need to understand your methodology. I got lucky. Nobody gets that lucky. Walsh's eyes were shrewd. Your transceiver reading showed no signal from the victim's beacon until you were directly on top of him. Yet you went straight to that spot. How? Kate hesitated. What could she say? A wolf showed me? That would sound insane. Avalanche debris has a flow pattern, Kate said carefully. I studied the terrain, calculated likely deposition zones, and made an educated guess. An educated guess that saved a life. Walsh made notes on her tablet. The Murphy family's attorney is filing paperwork to have you recognized for a civilian rescue commendation. There's also talk of a book deal, interviews. This story is generating significant media interest. Kate felt a wave of nausea. I don't want any of that. Nevertheless, it's coming. Walsh snapped her briefcase closed. Expect calls from news outlets. My advice? Hire a lawyer. These things can get complicated fast. After Walsh left, Kate stood in the hospital corridor feeling trapped. She didn't want recognition. She didn't want interviews. She'd done what anyone would do. Except that wasn't true. She'd followed a wolf into a blizzard, and she had no rational explanation for why. January 18th, 2024, 7:45 p.m., Elkhorn Research Station. The news van started showing up 2 days later. Kate had retreated to Elkhorn Station, hoping the remote location would discourage reporters. She was wrong. They came anyway, 4-wheel drive vehicles churning up the snow-covered access road, satellite dishes mounted on their roofs. Kate refused all interviews. But that didn't stop them from filming her cabin, from interviewing Marcus Reeves, from digging into her background. Local veterinarian performs miracle rescue, the headlines read. Woman's intuition saves buried skier. Elkhorn Station director defies orders to save life. The attention was suffocating. What made it worse was the timing. Her eviction notice had been extended by 30 days due to the media coverage. The state didn't want bad optics from evicting a local hero. But it was only a delay. The station was still closing. Kate sat at her desk, surrounded by cardboard boxes, trying to figure out where her life was going. She was 41 years old, divorced, childless. Her entire identity was wrapped up in work that was ending. The satellite phone rang. She almost didn't answer. Dr. Morrison, this is Rachel Foster with Wildlife Biology Research at Montana State. I'm calling about the wolf. Kate went still. What wolf? The white wolf that helped you locate Aiden Murphy. One of the helicopter crew mentioned it in his report. I've been studying grey wolf population dynamics in the Rockies for 15 years. A white phase wolf in Colorado is extremely unusual. I'd like to learn more. Kate's mind raced. She'd been so careful not to mention the wolf in her official report, but the rescue crew had seen it. I don't know what you're talking about, Kate said. Dr. Morrison, I'm not a journalist. I'm a scientist. If there's a white wolf exhibiting unusual behavior in your area, it's important for conservation efforts that we document it. Will you speak with me? Off the record? Something in Rachel's voice made Kate relax slightly. Off the record? Completely. Kate took a breath. There was a wolf, large, white. It appeared during my search and seemed to indicate where to dig. But I can't prove it was deliberate behavior. It could have been coincidence. How large? Over 100 pounds, maybe 140. Rachel was quiet for a moment. That's big for a grey wolf. And white-phase wolves in Colorado? We haven't had a documented sighting in 20 years. Can you describe its eyes? Amber, very clear, very focused. Did it approach you? No, it kept its distance, but it watched me the whole time. Rachel exhaled slowly. Dr. Morrison, I'd like to come to Colorado. I want to track this animal. If it's exhibiting the behavior you described, this could be groundbreaking research. Wolves don't typically engage in interspecies cooperation like that. Kate hesitated. Part of her wanted to forget the wolf, to pretend it hadn't happened. But another part, the scientist part, was curious. When would you come? Next week. I'll bring trail cameras, tracking equipment. If this wolf has established territory near Elkhorn Station, we can document it. All right, Kate said, but I'm not making any promises. The wolf might never appear again. Understood. Thank you, Dr. Morrison. After hanging up, Kate walked to the window and looked out at the dark forest. Snow was falling again, thick flakes drifting through the pines. Somewhere out there, a white wolf was moving through the wilderness, and Kate couldn't shake the feeling that it was watching her. January 22nd, 2024, 3:20 p.m., Elkhorn Research Station. Rachel Foster arrived in a battered Subaru loaded with scientific equipment. She was in her late 30s, athletic build, with sharp eyes that missed nothing. Within an hour of arrival, she deployed 6 trail cameras in strategic locations around the station. These are motion-activated, infrared, Rachel explained, adjusting the last camera. If your wolf comes within 100 yards, we'll get photos. It's not my wolf, Kate said. Rachel smiled. Figure of speech. Tell me about 3 years ago. You said you treated an injured wolf? Kate had mentioned it briefly on the phone. Now she gave Rachel the full story. The illegal trap, the mangled leg, the 4-day tracking effort, the moment the wolf had dipped its head before vanishing. Rachel listened intently, taking notes. And, you're certain it was the same animal? I can't be certain, but the size matches, the coloring, and those eyes. Kate trailed off. I know how this sounds. It sounds like a wolf with unusually high cognitive function, possibly due to previous positive human contact. Rachel pulled up a map on her laptop. Where did the initial rescue occur? Kate pointed to Deep Creek Valley. Rachel studied the map, then pulled up wolf migration data from Montana, Wyoming, and Colorado. There's a small wolf pack in northwest Colorado, Rachel said, but they're gray phase and they stay further west. A white wolf would be from much further north, Alaska, northern Canada. For it to be here, she frowned, that's a migration distance of over 1,000 miles. Wolves can travel that far? They can, but it's rare. Usually only happens when they're dispersing to find new territory. Rachel looked up. Or when they're looking for something. The words hung in the air. Kate shook her head. You're suggesting the wolf came to Colorado to find me? That's not scientifically possible. 3 years ago, you saved this wolf's life. Last week, it saved a human life in your presence. That's not coincidence. That's learned behavior. Recognition. Rachel's eyes gleamed with scientific excitement. Dr. Morrison, if I'm right, we're looking at the most sophisticated example of animal gratitude and long-term memory in grey wolf research history. Kate wanted to dismiss it, but she couldn't, because deep down, she believed it too. That night, Rachel stayed in Elkhorn Station's guest cabin. Kate couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about the wolf, about amber eyes in the snow, about the way it had dipped its head 3 years ago. At 2 a.m., Kate got up to make tea. She was standing at the kitchen window when she saw it. Movement in the tree line, white fur catching moonlight. The wolf. Kate's heart hammered. She grabbed her coat and stepped onto the porch, moving slowly, making no sudden movements. The wolf stood at the edge of the clearing, maybe 50 yards away. Even in the darkness, Kate could see its size, its power. It was the same animal, She was certain. They looked at each other across the snow. Kate took one step forward. The wolf didn't move. Another step. Still nothing. Kate walked slowly across the clearing, closing the distance. 30 yards, 20 yards, 15. The wolf watched her approach with those calm amber eyes. No aggression, no fear. 10 yards away, Kate stopped. This was close enough. Too close, by any reasonable wildlife safety standard. "It's you," Kate whispered. "Isn't it?" The wolf tilted its head slightly, listening. "Why did you come back?" The wolf held her gaze for a long moment. Then it did something that made Kate's breath catch. It limped forward 3 steps, favoring its front left leg. The leg Kate had splinted 3 years ago. The wolf stopped, looked down at its leg, then back at Kate, as if to say, "Remember?" Kate felt tears prick her eyes. "I remember." The wolf dipped its head, that same deliberate gesture from 3 years ago. Then it turned and melted into the forest. Kate stood in the snow for a long time, shaking, not from cold, from awe. January 23rd, 2024, 8:15 a.m., Elkhorn Research Station. "You saw it?" Rachel's excitement was barely contained as she reviewed the trail camera footage. "And you didn't wake me?" "It was 2 a.m., and I wasn't sure it was real." But the trail camera had captured everything. The white wolf entering the clearing, Kate approaching, the wolf limping forward on its injured leg, the moment of connection between them. Rachel played the footage 3 times, analyzing every frame. "This is incredible. The wolf deliberately displayed its injury. That's communication. It recognized you, remembered you, and showed gratitude." "Or it's just a wolf with a limp," Kate said, trying to maintain scientific objectivity. "No." Rachel zoomed in on the wolf's face. "Look at the eyes. Look at the body language. This animal is calm, focused, purposeful. It's not exhibiting fear or food-seeking behavior. It came here specifically to find you." Kate stared at the frozen image of the wolf on screen. "Why?" "I don't know, but I think we're about to find out." Over the next 3 days, the wolf returned every night, always at the same time, always to the same spot at the edge of the clearing, never approaching closer than 10 yards. Rachel documented everything: photos, video, behavioral notes. She was building a research paper that would revolutionize wolf cognition studies. But on the 4th night, something changed. The wolf arrived at 2 a.m., as usual. But instead of stopping at the clearing's edge, it moved closer, right up to the porch steps. Kate, who had started waiting outside for these visits, held very still. The wolf climbed onto the first step, then the second, until it was standing directly in front of her, close enough that Kate could feel the heat radiating from its body. This close, the animal was enormous. Its head came up to Kate's chest. Its shoulders were massive. This was an apex predator, designed by evolution to take down elk and moose. The wolf looked into Kate's eyes. Then it did something impossible. It sat down and extended its injured paw. Kate's hands moved without conscious thought. She knelt, took the wolf's paw gently, and examined it. The old injury had healed well. The bone was solid. The wolf had a slight limp, but nothing that would impact its survival. "You're okay," Kate murmured. "You healed perfectly." The wolf pulled its paw back and stood. It looked at Kate for one more moment. Then it turned its head toward the forest and let out a single, sharp bark. An answering howl came from the trees. Kate's blood went cold. The wolf wasn't alone. 3 more wolves emerged from the forest, all grey phase, smaller than the white wolf, but still impressive. They approached the porch slowly, cautiously, keeping the white wolf between them and Kate. A pack. The white wolf looked at Kate again. Then it turned and led its pack back into the forest. Rachel, who had been filming from the window, came outside, her face pale. "Kate, that white wolf isn't alone. It's an alpha. It has a pack." I know. Do you understand what this means? That wolf didn't just come back to find you, it brought its family. Kate stared at the forest where the wolves had vanished. A terrible certainty was settling over her. The white wolf hadn't come to say thank you, it had come to ask for help. January 27th, 2024, 11 a.m. Elkhorn Research Station. The answer came 4 days later. Kate was in the equipment shed, packing supplies for the impending eviction, when she heard Rachel shouting from the main cabin. "Kate, get in here, now!" Kate ran. Rachel was at the computer, pulling up trail camera footage from the northern section of the property. "Look at this, from last night." The footage showed the white wolf's pack, all 4 animals. They were huddled in a ravine about 2 miles from the station, and something was wrong. One of the grey wolves was lying on its side, not moving. "Is it dead?" Kate asked. "I don't know, but look at the alpha." Rachel pointed at the white wolf. It was pacing back and forth, periodically stopping to nudge the downed wolf. Classic distress behavior. "Something's wrong with one of the pack members," Kate said, "and the alpha is trying to protect it." Rachel pulled up more footage. This camera triggered at 4 a.m. It showed the white wolf alone, standing in the snow, staring directly at the camera, as if it knew Kate would see the footage, as if it was sending a message. Kate was already grabbing her veterinary kit. "I'm going up there." "Kate, wait. We should contact wildlife services, get proper backup." "There's no time. That wolf is in trouble." Kate pulled on her coat. "Besides, the white wolf knows me. It won't let strangers near its pack." Rachel grabbed her own coat. "Then I'm coming with you." They reached the ravine an hour later. The wolf pack was still there, and Kate's trained eye immediately identified the problem. The injured wolf was a young female, maybe 2 years old. She was conscious but barely moving. Her breathing was labored, and there was fresh blood in the snow beneath her. "Trap," Kate breathed. She stepped in a trap. The white wolf stood between Kate and the injured female, watching intently. Not threatening, assessing. Kate moved slowly, speaking in calm, quiet tones. "Easy. I'm here to help, just like before." The white wolf's amber eyes never left Kate's face. Then, incredibly, it stepped aside. Kate approached the injured female carefully. The wolf was weak, scared, but the white wolf positioned itself where the younger animal could see it, a reassuring presence. The trap was partially buried in snow, but Kate could see the damage. The female's hind leg was badly injured, not as severe as the white wolf's injury had been, but serious enough. Kate prepared a sedative. The white wolf watched every movement. When Kate administered the injection, the alpha's body tensed, but it didn't interfere. "You trust me," Kate whispered. "Don't you?" The sedative took effect. Kate worked quickly, removing the trap, cleaning the wound, splinting the leg. The white wolf never moved, but its packmates paced nervously at the edge of the ravine. 40 minutes later, Kate finished. "She'll be okay. The leg will heal. She'll have a limp, but she'll survive." The white wolf approached the sleeping female and gently licked her face. Then it looked at Kate. In that moment, Kate understood everything. 3 years ago, she'd saved the white wolf's life. Now, the wolf had brought her here to save another member of its family. This wasn't gratitude. This was partnership, trust, something deeper than Kate had words for. Rachel, who had been documenting everything with a video camera, lowered the device with shaking hands. "Kate, this is impossible. This level of cognitive reasoning, of planning. Wolves don't do this." "This one does," Kate said quietly. The white wolf barked once. Its packmates came forward, carefully surrounding the sedated female. Together, they began to move her, dragging her deeper into the ravine, where there was better shelter. The white wolf paused and looked back at Kate one last time. Then they were gone. January 30th, 2024, 6:30 p.m. Elkhorn Research Station. Kate's phone rang while she was making dinner. Unknown number. Dr. Morrison? This is David Chen, Aidan Murphy's uncle. Kate's hand tightened on the phone. How is Aidan? He's going to make a full recovery. We wanted to thank you properly. We've established a fund in your name, $50,000 for your research station. Kate's knees went weak. Mr. Chen, that's too much. It's not enough. You saved my nephew's life. His voice cracked. The doctors said another hour, and he would have died. You went back up that mountain alone. You found him in impossible conditions. Please, let us do this. Kate couldn't speak. $50,000. Enough to keep Elkhorn Station open for at least another year. There's more, David continued. The story has gotten out. About the wolf. Social media is going crazy. People are calling it the Guardian Wolf of Colorado. There's a petition with 40,000 signatures asking the state to protect wolves in the Elkhorn area. Kate sank into a chair. A petition? It's bigger than you know. This wolf saved a human life. People care about that. They want to help.
After the call ended, Kate sat in the silence of her cabin, overwhelmed. Everything was changing. The station might survive. The wolves might be protected. All because of one white wolf that had learned to trust a human. Rachel burst in, laptop in hand. Kate, you need to see this. The news coverage was everywhere. Miracle Wolf helps rescue buried skier. Colorado Wolf shows unprecedented intelligence. White Wolf leads rescuer to victim. The videos from Rachel's trail cameras had been leaked. Not by Rachel, but by someone at the hospital who'd heard the rescue crew talking. Now, millions of people were watching footage of the White Wolf leading Kate through the blizzard. The comments were overwhelming. This wolf is a hero. We need to protect this animal. Wolves are more intelligent than we know. Kate's satellite phone rang, then rang again. Interview requests, documentary offers, conservation groups wanting to help. It was too much. Kate turned off the phone and walked outside. The white wolf was there, standing at the edge of the clearing, as if it had been waiting. Kate walked across the snow. The wolf didn't move. You changed everything, Kate said softly. Do you know that? You saved Aidan. You brought attention to wolf conservation. You might have saved this whole station. The wolf tilted its head, listening. Why? Kate asked. Why did you come back? The wolf stepped forward, close enough that Kate could touch it. She reached out slowly, half expecting the animal to bolt. But the wolf pressed its head into her hand. Kate felt tears streaming down her face as she ran her fingers through thick white fur. This was impossible. This violated everything she knew about wolf behavior. But it was happening. Thank you, Kate whispered. The wolf pulled back and looked at her with those amber eyes. Then it turned and vanished into the night. Kate stood there for a long time, her hands still warm from the wolf's fur, knowing that her life had just changed forever. But what Kate didn't know was that the white wolf's visits had been noticed by others, and not everyone wanted to protect the animals. In a hunting lodge 50 miles away, a group of men were planning. They'd seen the news coverage, they'd seen the wolf, and they wanted it dead. February 2nd, 2024, 9:15 a.m., Red Pine Hunting Lodge, 50 miles west of Elkhorn. Garrett Mills stared at the frozen image on his laptop screen. A massive white wolf, caught mid-stride by a trail camera, its amber eyes seeming to look directly into the lens. That's the one, he said, tapping the screen. The famous guardian wolf everyone's crying about. 4 men sat around the lodge's oak table, nursing coffee and whiskey despite the early hour. Ray Thompson, Dale Crawford, Mike Hendricks, and Garrett. They'd been hunting together for 20 years, taking trophy elk and deer across Colorado's wilderness areas. But this was different. Social media's going insane over this animal, Ray said, scrolling through his phone.
40,000 signatures on some protection petition. Environmental groups calling it a conservation icon.
It's vermin, Garrett said flatly. Wolves don't belong in Colorado. They kill livestock. They destroy game populations. And now people want to protect them because of one feel-good story? Dale leaned back in his chair. States already announced they're considering special protection status for the Elkhorn area. No wolf hunting within 20 miles of that research station. Which is why we move now, Garrett said. Before the legal protections kick in, we've got maybe 2 weeks. Mike, the youngest of the group at 35, looked uncomfortable. Garrett, hunting wolves in Colorado is illegal, period. State doesn't even have a wolf hunting season. Only illegal if you get caught. Garrett pulled up a topographic map. That white wolf has established territory near Elkhorn Station. We know its patterns from all the trail camera footage that leaked. We track it, we take it, we get out. Clean and simple. And the pack? Ray asked. Bonus targets. Garrett's smile was cold. Colorado Parks and Wildlife has been trying to keep wolf populations out of the state for years. We'd be doing them a favor. This is insane, Mike said. If we're caught, we're looking at federal charges. Endangered Species Act violations. Wolves aren't endangered anymore, Garrett countered. They were delisted in 2020. And Colorado wolves? They're migrants from Wyoming. They're not even supposed to be here. Ray studied the map. When do we go? Saturday night. New moon. No visibility for trail cameras. We go in fast. We go in quiet. We're out before sunrise. Mike stood up. I'm not part of this. Shoot an illegal wolf for what? A trophy? This is murder. It's pest control, Garrett said. But if you're too soft for it, there's the door. Mike grabbed his coat and left without another word. The remaining 3 men watched him go. He'll keep quiet, Ray said. He knows what happens if he doesn't. Garrett returned his attention to the laptop, studying footage of the white wolf. Saturday night. We're going hunting. February 3rd, 2024, 2:45 p.m. Elkhorn Research Station. Kate was reviewing Rachel's latest research data when her satellite phone rang. The call came from Marcus Reeves. Kate, we've got a problem. Mike Hendricks just walked into my office with a very disturbing story. Kate listened as Marcus explained. The hunting party, the plan to kill the white wolf, the timeline. They're planning to hit your area in 4 days, Marcus said. Mike didn't give me names, but he said these guys are serious. Ex-military. They know how to move through wilderness without leaving sign. Kate's blood went cold. Can you stop them? Not without evidence. Mike's testimony isn't enough for an arrest. These guys haven't actually done anything yet, and I can't put law enforcement on your property without cause. So what do I do? Be vigilant. Document everything. If you see anything suspicious, call immediately. And Kate? Marcus paused. Keep Rachel and yourself safe. These men are dangerous. After the call, Kate told Rachel everything. The researcher's face went pale. We need to move the cameras, Rachel said. If these hunters know where our current cameras are, they'll avoid them. We need to reposition, create a wider surveillance net. And the wolves? Rachel met Kate's eyes. They're in danger, but we can't exactly warn them. Can't we? Kate looked toward the forest. The white wolf trusts me. Maybe I can, I don't know, make them leave the area? Kate, you're talking about communication with a wild animal. I touched that wolf 3 days ago. It let me touch it. That's not normal wild animal behavior either. Kate grabbed her coat. I'm going to try. Rachel didn't argue. She just grabbed her own coat and followed. February 3rd, 2024, 4:20 p.m., North Ravine. Kate tracked the wolf pack to the ravine where she'd treated the injured female. The wolves were there, all 4 of them, resting in the shelter of overhanging rocks. The white wolf stood immediately when Kate and Rachel approached. Alert, protective. Kate moved forward slowly. Easy, it's me. The wolf watched her approach but didn't retreat. When Kate was 10 yards away, she stopped and knelt in the snow. You need to leave, Kate said quietly. There are people coming, bad people. They want to hurt you." The wolf tilted its head, those amber eyes fixed on Kate's face. "I know you don't understand my words, but please." Kate felt tears burning in her eyes. "Please go somewhere safe." For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the white wolf did something that made Kate's breath catch. It approached her, came right up to where Kate knelt, and pressed its forehead against hers. The contact lasted only seconds, but Kate felt it like an electric shock. Connection, understanding, something beyond words. Then the wolf pulled back, looked at its pack, and barked once. The 3 grey wolves stood immediately. The white wolf looked at Kate one more time, then led its pack deeper into the ravine, away from Elkhorn Station, away from danger. Kate remained kneeling in the snow, shaking. Rachel crouched beside her. "Kate, that wolf understood you." "That's impossible."
"I filmed it. That wolf pressed its head against yours. That's not random behavior. That's deliberate communication." Rachel's voice was filled with awe. This changes everything we know about wolf cognition. Kate looked at the tracks, leading away into the wilderness. Will they be safe? I don't know, but at least we tried. February 6th, 2024, 10:30 p.m., Elkhorn Research Station. The hunters came on schedule. Kate's motion alarms triggered at 10:43 p.m. She and Rachel were both awake, monitoring the cameras, drinking too much coffee. "We've got movement," Rachel said, pulling up the feed. 3 men, west approach. They're dressed in white camo. They're carrying rifles. Kate's heart hammered. "Call Marcus." Rachel grabbed the satellite phone while Kate watched the men move through the forest. They were good, professional. They moved with military precision, avoiding the obvious camera locations, using terrain to mask their approach. But they didn't know about the new cameras Rachel had positioned. "Marcus is 20 minutes out," Rachel reported. "He's bringing backup." "That's too long." On screen, the hunters reached the ravine where the wolves had been 3 days ago. Kate held her breath, praying the pack had moved far enough away. The hunters searched the ravine, found old tracks. One of them, a tall man with a grey beard, knelt to examine the ground. Then he pointed toward the north, toward where the pack had relocated. "No," Kate breathed. "No, no, no." The hunters moved north, following the trail. Kate tracked them on camera after camera, watching helplessly as they closed in on the wolves' new location. "We have to do something," Kate said. "Kate, Marcus said to stay inside. I'm not letting them kill those wolves." Kate was already pulling on her coat. "I'm going out there." "That's insane. Those men have rifles." "And I have the element of surprise." Kate grabbed her emergency pack. "Stay here. Monitor the cameras. Guide Marcus to their location when he arrives." Kate. But Kate was already out the door, moving into the freezing night. February 6th, 2024, 11:05 p.m., Northern Territory. Kate ran through the forest, using her knowledge of the terrain to move fast. The temperature was -20. Her breath came in ragged gasps. Her face was numb, but she pushed harder. She could see the hunters' headlamps in the distance, maybe a quarter-mile ahead. They were moving toward a limestone outcropping, where thermal imaging had shown wolf signatures earlier that day. Kate angled to intercept, using a game trail that would bring her to the outcropping first. She reached it with minutes to spare. The wolves were there, all 4 of them. The white alpha was standing at the entrance to a small cave, its body language protective. Kate understood immediately. The injured female was inside, unable to run. The white wolf sensed Kate's approach and spun, teeth bared. Then it recognized her, and the aggression faded. "They're coming," Kate gasped. "The hunters! You need to run!" The white wolf looked back at the cave, then at Kate. The message was clear. "We can't run. She can't move yet." Kate heard voices. The hunters were close, maybe 200 yards. She made a decision that terrified her. Kate stepped in front of the cave entrance, between the wolves and the hunters. "If they want you,
They go through me first. The white wolf moved to stand beside her. Not behind her. Beside her. Partners. The hunter's headlamps appeared through the trees. Kate stood her ground, her heart slamming against her ribs. The three men stopped when they saw her. The tall one with the grey beard, Garrett Mills, Kate would learn later, raised his rifle. "Step aside, lady. This doesn't concern you." "It absolutely concerns me," Kate said, surprised by the steadiness in her voice. "These wolves are under protection of Colorado Parks and Wildlife. You're trespassing on research property, and hunting wolves in Colorado is a federal crime." "No one's hunting," Garrett said. "We're just hiking. Those rifles are for bear protection." At 11 p.m., in white camouflage, following wolf tracks? Kate pulled out her phone. "I've already called law enforcement. They're 5 minutes out. Leave now or face federal charges." She was bluffing about the 5 minutes. Marcus was still at least 10 minutes away. But the hunters didn't know that. Ray Thompson, the shorter man, looked nervous. "Garrett, maybe we should—" "Shut up." Garrett kept his rifle trained on Kate. "You're that veterinarian from the news, the one who rescued the skier. Dr. Kate Morrison. And yes. So you're the reason everyone's crying about wolves now." Garrett's expression hardened. "You made this animal famous. Turned it into some kind of hero. You know what wolves really do? They kill. They're predators." "So are you," Kate said quietly. The white wolf growled low. The three grey wolves emerged from the cave behind Kate, flanking her. They weren't attacking. They were presenting a united front, 5 against 3. Garrett laughed. "You think those wolves will protect you? They're wild animals. The second we fire, they'll run." "Then fire," Kate said, "because I'm not moving." The standoff stretched. Seconds felt like hours. Kate could hear her own heartbeat, could feel the white wolf's heat beside her, could see Garrett's finger resting on the trigger. Then headlights appeared through the trees, multiple vehicles, sirens. Marcus Reeves' voice boomed through a megaphone. "This is Colorado Parks and Wildlife. Drop your weapons. Hands in the air. Now!" The hunters' faces went pale. Dale Crawford dropped his rifle immediately. Ray followed, but Garrett held his position for a moment longer, his rifle still aimed at Kate. "You cost me this kill," he said quietly. "I saved your life," Kate replied. "That white wolf would have torn your throat out before you got a second shot." Garrett looked at the wolf standing beside Kate. Something in
those amber eyes made him lower his rifle. Law enforcement flooded the area, 6 officers, all with weapons drawn. The hunters were surrounded, disarmed, handcuffed. Marcus approached Kate, his face ashen. "Are you out of your mind? Those men could have killed you." "They would have killed the wolves." Kate's legs were shaking. Now that the adrenaline was fading, she realized how close she'd come to dying. The white wolf pressed against her side, steadying her. Marcus saw it and shook his head in disbelief. "That wolf is standing next to you like a guard dog." "It's a long story. I've got all night." Marcus looked at the hunters being loaded into vehicles. "Those 3 are facing federal charges. Attempted poaching of protected wildlife, trespassing, possibly assault if we can prove they aimed weapons at you." "Will the charges stick?" "With the camera footage Rachel provided, absolutely. They're looking at 5 years minimum." Kate felt relief wash over her. The wolves were safe, at least for now. But as the law enforcement vehicles drove away with the hunters, Kate noticed something. The white wolf hadn't left. It was still standing beside her, watching the lights disappear. "You can go," Kate said softly. "It's over. You're safe." The wolf looked at her. Then it did something that made Kate's heart ache. It howled, a long, mournful sound that echoed through the forest. The 3 grey wolves emerged from the cave and joined in, 4 voices raised in unison, filling the night. It was the most beautiful sound Kate had ever heard. And somehow, she understood. This wasn't a howl of fear or warning. It was a howl of gratitude, of connection, of family. When the howling stopped, the white wolf touched its nose to Kate's hand. Then it led its pack back into the wilderness. Kate stood in the snow, watching them go, knowing she'd just experienced something that science couldn't explain. Rachel appeared beside her, camera in hand. "I filmed everything. Kate, what you did tonight was stupid," Kate finished. "Was heroic." Rachel's eyes were shining. "You stood between armed men and a wolf pack. You risked your life." "They would have done the same for me."
Would they?
Kate thought about the white wolf standing beside her, about amber eyes meeting hers in perfect understanding. Yes, they would have. February 8th, 2024, 3:30 p.m., Elkhorn Research Station. The story exploded across national news within hours. Veterinarian faces down armed poachers to protect famous white wolf. The video Rachel had captured, Kate standing in front of the cave, the white wolf at her side, facing down 3 armed men, went viral in minutes. 20 million views in the first day, 50 million by the end of the week. The public response was overwhelming. Donations poured into wolf conservation groups. The petition to protect wolves in the Elkhorn area reached 200,000 signatures. Colorado Parks and Wildlife announced emergency protection measures for the region, and Kate became, against her will, famous. Interview requests flooded in. Book deals, documentary offers, morning shows wanted her flown to New York. A Hollywood producer called about film rights to her story. Kate refused everything. She wasn't interested in fame. She'd done what anyone would do. But the attention had consequences she hadn't anticipated. "Kate, you need to see this," Rachel said, pulling up an email on her laptop. "It's from the State Wildlife Commission." Kate read the message, her hands beginning to shake. The state was offering her a permanent position, Director of Wolf Conservation Programs for Colorado, full funding, complete autonomy, a mandate to study and protect wolf populations across the state. "This is everything you've worked for," Rachel said. "Full government backing, resources, protection for the wolves." "They're offering this because I'm famous," Kate said bitterly. "Not because of my qualifications." "Does it matter? Take the job, use the fame, do the work that needs doing." Kate looked out the window at the forest. Somewhere out there, a white wolf was moving through the snow, living, free, safe, because Kate had refused to let evil win. "I'll think about it," Kate said. That night at 2 a.m., Kate went outside. She'd started doing this every night, standing on her porch, looking at the forest. The white wolf appeared at the tree line, like clockwork, like it had been waiting. Kate walked across the clearing. The wolf met her halfway. They stood together in the snow, woman and wolf, connected by something neither of them fully understood. "They want to make me famous," Kate said quietly. "They want to use our story to push conservation agendas. Is that wrong?" The wolf tilted its head, listening. "I saved you because it was right. Not for recognition, not for money. Just because you deserve to live." Kate's voice cracked. "And now everyone wants to turn that into something political." The wolf stepped closer and pressed its head against Kate's chest. Kate wrapped her arms around the animal's neck, feeling thick fur beneath her fingers, feeling the steady heartbeat against her own. And she understood. The why didn't matter. The attention didn't matter. What mattered was the work. Protecting these animals, giving them a future. If fame was the price for doing that work, Kate would pay it. "Okay," Kate whispered. "I'll take the job. I'll be their wolf expert. I'll do the interviews. I'll be famous, but only if it helps protect you and your pack." The wolf pulled back and looked at Kate with those knowing amber eyes. Then it turned and trotted back toward the forest. But before it reached the trees, it stopped and looked back, waiting. Kate's breath caught. "You want me to follow you?" The wolf barked once, an invitation. Kate looked back at the cabin, looked at her warm bed, her safety, her human world. Then she looked at the white wolf standing in the moonlight, and she chose. Kate followed the wolf into the forest. February 8th, 2024, 3:15 a.m., deep wilderness. The white wolf led Kate 3 miles into territory she'd never explored. The pack was waiting there, all 4 wolves, plus 2 more Kate hadn't seen before. 6 wolves total. The white wolf had grown its pack. Kate stood at the edge of the clearing, watching the wolves interact. The injured female was moving better now, her limp barely noticeable. The other wolves greeted each other with tail wags and gentle nips, family behavior. The white wolf approached Kate and sat. Then it looked toward a rocky outcropping at the clearing's edge. Kate followed its gaze and gasped. 4 wolf pups emerged from the rocks, tiny, maybe 6 weeks old. They tumbled over each other, playing in the snow, their yips echoing in the quiet night. "You have pups," Kate breathed. The white wolf looked at her, then back at the pups, then at Kate again. The message was clear. "This is why we stayed. This is why we came to you, to protect our family." One of the pups, braver than the others, toddled toward Kate. It was tiny, fluffy, with oversized paws and curious blue eyes that would eventually turn amber. The pup reached Kate and sniffed her boots. Then it sat down and looked up at her with an expression of complete trust. Kate knelt slowly. The pup immediately climbed into her lap. The white wolf watched this interaction, but didn't interfere. The other adult wolves gathered around, forming a protective circle. And Kate realized what she was witnessing. Acceptance. The pack was accepting her, not as a human, as family. Kate sat in the snow with a wolf pup in her lap, surrounded by adult wolves, and felt tears streaming down her face. "I'll protect you," she promised. "All of you, for as long as I live." The white wolf moved closer and lay down beside Kate. The other wolves followed suit, and for an hour, Kate sat in a clearing in the middle of the Colorado wilderness, surrounded by a wolf pack that trusted her completely. When dawn began to lighten the eastern sky, the white wolf stood. Time to leave. Time for Kate to return to her world. But before Kate left, the white wolf did something that would stay with her forever. It brought one of the pups, the brave one that had climbed into Kate's lap, and gently pushed the small animal toward Kate. Kate stared in shock. "No, I can't. It needs to stay with you." But the white wolf pushed the pup again, insistent. Rachel's words echoed in Kate's mind. "This wolf is exhibiting intelligence beyond anything we've documented." The white wolf wanted Kate to take the pup, wanted the connection between human and wolf to continue, wanted the next generation to know that some humans could be trusted. "Are you sure?" Kate whispered. The white wolf touched its nose to Kate's forehead. Then it turned and led its pack back into the forest, leaving Kate alone with a 6-week-old wolf pup that was looking up at her with absolute trust. Kate picked up the pup, tucked it inside her coat for warmth, and started the long walk back to Elkhorn Station. Everything had changed. Again. But what Kate didn't know was that the story was far from over. The hunters had been arrested, but they had friends, powerful friends, and those friends wanted revenge. February 15th, 2024, 8:45 a.m., Elkhorn Research Station. The wolf pup Kate named Luna was growing fast. In 7 days, the tiny creature had transformed from a helpless ball of fur into a curious, energetic explorer. Luna followed Kate everywhere, sleeping in a specially prepared enclosure in Kate's cabin at night, playing in the snow during the day. Rachel documented every moment. This is unprecedented. A wild wolf pup, voluntarily placed with a human by its pack. This will revolutionize our understanding of wolf-human bonding. Kate was feeding Luna with a specialized formula when her satellite phone rang. Marcus Reeves. "Kate, we've got a situation. Garrett Mills made bail yesterday." Kate's blood went cold. "How?" "He's facing federal charges. His lawyer is Richard Blackwood, high-powered attorney from Denver. Apparently, Mills has connections we didn't know about." Marcus paused. "Kate, Blackwood is arguing that you provoked his clients, that you endangered yourself and blamed them.
He's threatening to countersue for harassment. That's insane. We have video evidence, which his team is claiming was edited. They're fighting dirty. Marcus's frustration was evident. There's more. Mills has ties to Senator Thomas Carver. Carver sits on the Wildlife Commission. He's pushing to have the wolf protection measures reversed. Kate felt sick. Can he do that? He's trying. There's a hearing next week. If Carver succeeds, the Elkhorn Protection Zone disappears, and wolves become legal game again. After hanging up, Kate looked at Luna, who was chewing on a rope toy, oblivious to the danger. We're not safe yet, are we, girl? Luna yipped happily. That night, Kate went outside at the usual time. The white wolf appeared as always, but this time its body language was different. Tense. Alert. The wolf approached Kate and grabbed her jacket sleeve gently in its teeth, tugging. You want me to follow you? The wolf tugged harder, urgent. Kate grabbed her coat and followed. The white wolf led her 2 miles north, moving fast. When they reached a ridge overlooking the valley, Kate understood why. Below, in the darkness, she could see lights. Multiple vehicles, at least 6, parked in a hidden clearing. Through her binoculars, Kate could make out men unloading equipment. Night vision gear, high-powered rifles, trail cameras. They were setting up a base camp. Kate's hands shook as she took photos with her phone. The white wolf pressed against her leg, growling softly. I see them, Kate whispered. We need to get help. She called Marcus immediately. They're back, or someone is. 6 vehicles, armed men. They're setting up a hunting operation. I'm calling in federal backup, Marcus said. But Kate, it'll take hours. Can you get back to the station safely? I think so. The white wolf led me here. It knows how to avoid them. That wolf saved your life, again. Kate looked at the massive animal beside her. I know. They made it back to Elkhorn Station by midnight. But Kate couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about the men in the valley, about their weapons, about the white wolf's pack. At 3 a.m., Luna started whining. Kate went to check on her and found the pup staring out the window, ears forward. Kate looked outside and her heart stopped. Fire. The forest to the west was burning. Orange flames leaping through the trees, spreading fast in the dry winter conditions. No, Kate breathed. They set a fire. She grabbed her phone and called 911, then Marcus. There's a fire. Western section. It's moving toward the wolf pack's territory. Fire crews are on their way, the dispatcher said. Evacuate immediately. But Kate couldn't evacuate. Not while the wolves were in danger. She grabbed Luna, her emergency pack, and ran outside. Rachel was already awake, loading equipment into her truck. Kate, we have to leave, Rachel shouted over the roar of approaching flames. The white wolf's pack is in the direct path of that fire. I have to warn them. Kate, that's suicide. But Kate was already running north, Luna clutched against her chest, racing toward the flames to save the family that had saved her. February 15th, 2024, 3:45 a.m. Northern Territory. The smoke was choking. Kate wrapped a wet cloth around her face and pushed forward, following the terrain she knew by heart. The wolves' den was a mile ahead. If the fire reached it before Kate did, the pack would be trapped. Luna whimpered in Kate's arms. The pup was terrified, but Kate couldn't stop. Wouldn't stop. She reached the clearing where she'd first seen the pups. The adult wolves were there, confused by the smoke, trying to corral the frightened pups. The white wolf saw Kate and barked sharply. The other wolves responded immediately, gathering the pups. "This way!" Kate shouted, knowing the wolf couldn't understand words but hoping her tone would convey urgency. "Follow me!" She turned and ran toward the eastern ridge, away from the fire. The white wolf hesitated for only a moment, then barked at its pack. They followed. Kate led them through terrain she'd mapped over years of research, a game trail that led to a creek.
The creek led to rocky ground that the fire couldn't cross easily. Behind them, the flames roared closer. Heat singed Kate's back. Smoke filled her lungs. Luna was coughing in her arms. They reached the creek with minutes to spare. Kate splashed into the freezing water, soaking herself and Luna. The wolf pack did the same, instinctively understanding that water meant safety. The fire reached the creek's edge and stopped, unable to cross the natural fire break. Kate collapsed in the shallow water, gasping, holding Luna close. The white wolf stood over her protectively, its pack gathered around. They'd made it. Helicopter rotors thundered overhead, firefighting aircraft dropping retardant, ground crews establishing containment lines. Kate's satellite phone rang. Marcus. "Kate, where are you? Are you alive?" "Creek bed, north section. I have the wolves. We're safe." "Thank God. Stay where you are. Fire crews are securing the perimeter. We're coming to get you." An hour later, Kate was wrapped in blankets at a command post, paramedics checking her for smoke inhalation. Luna was being examined by a wildlife veterinarian. The wolf pack had vanished back into the wilderness the moment human voices approached. But Kate knew they were out there, watching, waiting. "Dr. Morrison," a stern voice said. Kate looked up to see a woman in a federal agent's jacket. "I'm Special Agent Sarah Collins, FBI. We've arrested 6 men in connection with tonight's fire. They've been charged with arson, attempted poaching, and domestic terrorism." Terrorism? Setting a wildfire to kill protected wildlife and potentially harm humans counts. Collins sat beside Kate. "One of them is talking. Garrett Mills paid them $50,000 to eliminate the white wolf. The fire was supposed to look like a natural disaster." Kate felt rage burning hotter than any fire. "He tried to kill innocent animals." "He tried to kill
You," Collins corrected. "You were in the projected fire path. He knew that." The full horror of it sank in. Garrett Mills hadn't just wanted the wolves dead, he'd wanted Kate dead too. "He's going to prison for a very long time," Collins continued, "along with his associates. Senator Carver is also under investigation for conspiracy. This whole operation is unraveling." Kate looked toward the forest where the white wolf had disappeared. "The wolves saved my life. Again. And you saved theirs. That's the story everyone needs to hear." February 20th, 2024, 2 p.m., Colorado State Capitol, Denver. Kate stood at a podium in front of the Wildlife Commission, Luna sitting calmly at her feet. Behind her, video screens showed footage of the white wolf, the rescue, the fire, everything. "Members of the commission," Kate began, her voice steady despite her nerves. "I'm here to ask you to permanently protect wolves in the Elkhorn region. Not because of sentiment, not because one wolf became famous, but because science demands it." She clicked to a slide showing Rachel's research data. "In 3 months, we've documented behavior in gray wolves that challenges everything we thought we knew about their cognitive abilities. Problem-solving, communication, interspecies cooperation. These animals are far more intelligent than our models predicted." Another click. The white wolf standing beside Kate, facing down armed men. This wolf made a choice to trust humans, to bring its injured packmate to a human for help, to warn humans about danger. That level of reasoning shouldn't be possible, but it is. Kate's voice grew stronger. "If we kill these animals, we lose the chance to understand them. We lose data that could revolutionize wildlife management, and we lose something more important." She paused, looking directly at Senator Carver, who sat stone-faced in the audience. "We lose our humanity. Because if we can't protect animals that have proven their value, their intelligence, their capacity for connection, what does that say about us?" The room was silent. "I'm proposing a 5-year protected zone around Elkhorn Station, full federal protection for all wolf populations in the area, and funding for comprehensive research into wolf cognition and behavior." Kate clicked to the final slide. "This is bigger than one wolf. This is about understanding intelligence in all its forms and protecting it." She stepped back. Luna stood and yipped once, as if adding her own testimony.
The commission voted 2 hours later, 8-2 in favor of protection. Carver and his ally voted against, but they lost. Kate walked out of the Capitol building with Luna, Rachel, and Marcus, feeling a weight lift from her shoulders. "You did it," Rachel said, tears in her eyes. "Full protection, federal funding, this is everything." Kate looked down at Luna, who was trying to eat snow off the Capitol steps. "No, the White Wolf did it. I'm just the messenger." That night, back at Elkhorn Station, Kate went outside at 2 a.m. The White Wolf was waiting at the clearing's edge. Kate walked across the snow with Luna at her heels. The White Wolf approached slowly, sniffing the pup it had given Kate weeks ago. Luna yipped excitedly and pounced on the adult wolf's paws. The White Wolf's expression, if a wolf could be said to have expressions, was almost fond. "She's growing well," Kate said, "strong, smart, like her pack." The White Wolf looked at Kate with those amber eyes that had haunted her dreams for 3 years. "You're safe now," Kate continued, "protected, you and your family. No one can hunt you legally ever again in this area." The wolf stepped closer, close enough that Kate could feel its breath. And then, slowly, deliberately, the White Wolf pressed its forehead against Kate's chest, over her heart. Kate wrapped her arms around the animal's neck, tears streaming down her face. "Thank you for everything, for saving Aiden, for saving me, for teaching me what connection really means." The White Wolf pulled back and touched its nose to Luna's head, blessing the pup, approving Kate's care of its young. Then the White Wolf turned and trotted toward the forest. But at the tree line, it stopped and looked back one final time. Kate raised her hand. "Goodbye. Or maybe see you soon." The White Wolf howled, long and beautiful, a sound that echoed across the mountains. And Kate understood. This wasn't goodbye. This was a promise. We're family now, forever. The White Wolf vanished into the darkness, but Kate knew it would return. It always did. She looked down at Luna, who was trying to howl like the adult, but only managing a squeaky yip. "Come on, girl. Let's go home." Kate walked back to her cabin with a wolf pup at her heels, her heart full, knowing that her life had been forever changed by an impossible bond. She'd saved a white wolf 3 years ago, and the White Wolf had spent 3 years finding ways to repay that debt. Not because it had to, but because some connections transcend species. Some bonds can't be broken by time or distance, or even nature itself. Kate had learned that the hardest way possible, and she'd never forget it. 6 months later, September 2024, Kate was preparing for a routine veterinary check on Luna when she decided to scan the White Wolf's microchip number that she'd logged during their first encounter. She'd never bothered to trace it before. Wild rehabilitation wolves often had chips that led to defunct databases. But curiosity got the better of her. She entered the chip number into the National Wildlife Database and watched the screen load. Then her world stopped. Registered to Dr. Robert Morrison, Colorado Wildlife Rehabilitation, March 2009. Kate's hands started shaking. Robert Morrison, her father. Her father had died 15 years ago. Heart attack during the winter rescue operation when Kate was 26. She clicked deeper into the file, and there it was, a photo from 2009, a young wolf pup, barely 8 weeks old, with white fur and amber eyes. Rescue notes. Pup found near Deep Creek Valley by Sarah Morrison, age 12, during ice fishing trip. Mother killed by trap. Sarah insisted on saving pup. Rehabilitation successful. Released April 2010. Kate's vision blurred with tears. Sarah, her little sister. Her little sister who had died 7 months after that photo was taken. Sarah had fallen through ice while skating on Deep Creek Lake. Kate had been away at veterinary school. She'd gotten the call, rushed home, arrived too late. She'd never known Sarah had rescued a wolf pup. Kate pulled out her father's old journal, which he'd kept in a box for 15 years. She'd never been able to read it after he died. Too painful. Now she flipped through pages until she found the entry from March 2009. Sarah found a wolf pup today. Illegal trap killed its mother. Sarah cried for an hour, begging us to save it. Kate would have done the same thing at that age. Both my girls have hearts too big for this cruel world. We're naming the pup Ghost, Sarah's idea. She says its fur is white like a ghost. She promises to visit it every week until it's released. The next entry made Kate's breath stop. December 2009, Sarah's accident. She went through the ice. I found her, but it was too late. Ghost was there. The wolf somehow got out of its enclosure and tracked Sarah to the lake. It was trying to dig through the ice to reach her. Wildlife regulations say we have to release Ghost now, but I swear that wolf understood what happened. It howled for 3 days straight, like it was mourning. Kate's tears fell onto the pages. The white wolf wasn't just any wolf. It was Ghost, the pup her sister had saved 15 years ago. And Ghost had spent 15 years surviving, growing, remembering. When Kate had rescued Ghost 3 years ago from that trap, the wolf had recognized her scent, Sarah's sister. Ghost hadn't come back to repay Kate. Ghost had come back to protect the last piece of Sarah Morrison that existed in this world. Everything made sense now. The unusual trust, the deliberate communication, the way Ghost had pressed its forehead against Kate's heart. The wolf had been keeping a promise to a 12-year-old girl who had saved its life. "I'll protect your sister. I'll keep her safe. I promise, Sarah." Kate walked outside with the journal clutched to her chest. Luna followed her, sensing something important was happening. At the clearing's edge, exactly where it always appeared, stood Ghost. The white wolf looked at Kate with those amber eyes that had seen so much, survived so much, remembered so much. "You knew," Kate whispered. "You knew who I was all along." Ghost walked forward slowly until it stood directly in front of Kate. Kate knelt and wrapped her arms around the massive animal, sobbing into
White fur that smelled like pine and snow and wild things. "Thank you," Kate choked out. "Thank you for keeping your promise to her. Thank you for protecting me. Thank you for being the connection to my sister I never knew I had." Ghost pressed its head against Kate's heart, where Sarah's memory lived. And Kate understood the final truth. Some bonds don't end with death. Some promises transcend lifetimes. And some love, between sisters, between humans and animals, between souls, never dies. It just changes form. Ghost pulled back and touched its nose to Luna's head. 3 generations connected. Sarah's wolf, Kate's wolf, and the future they would build together. Then Ghost turned and walked into the forest, Luna bounding after it for a few steps before returning to Kate. Kate watched the white wolf vanish into the trees one more time, her heart breaking and healing simultaneously. "I'll tell your story, Sarah," Kate whispered to the wind. "I'll make sure everyone knows what you started, the love you gave that created all of this." Somewhere in the forest, a white wolf howled, and Kate smiled through her tears, because some voices never truly go silent. Some love never truly ends, and some miracles are 15 years in the making.